even if I touch a meal. And do it through the pain, I don't need a pain. And life gon' get me down, but it won't break my will. Cause I've been chasing this so long, I can't give up. I won't give in, been through too much. I done prayed for the money, I done prayed for the fame. I done prayed that I will make a sacrifice and play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed that I will make it bring glory to my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest here, another episode of Uncle Strib. We have the one and only Big Diesel. I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself, and then we'll get going from there.
All right, everybody. My name's Darien, or as Finis loves to call me, Diesel. I was born in Corpus Christi, Texas. Spent about 5 years of my life there. Moved up to San Antonio. Lived here ever since. I've played basketball ever since I can remember. Probably, I think I first started playing like 3, 4 years old. Back in Corpus, my dad introduced me. I still have the ball he gave me when I was like 3 years old. It's now in a case signed by Tony Parker. Um, I love just sports in general. Right now I'm at UTSA studying bio to become a doctor, hopefully orthopedic surgeon. We'll see how it goes in the future, but that's about it. Other than that, my life's kind of boring, Finest.
Well, boring is better, as I like to say, which I've never said that before, but boring is truly better. So, leading up, very interesting background being into sports. Obviously, me and you have had basketball conversations, endless.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Yep.
has I guess basketball has always been something that you've really enjoyed. Tell me, like middle school, when did you start getting serious into basketball?
I don't know. I would have to say probably around fifth, sixth grade, like middle school. Because by then I had already had my first injury. I broke my arm in third grade. So by then I already kind of knew, like, it's not all sunshine and roses, especially up until sixth grade. I only played with boys, and then I had to transition into playing girls basketball. So for me, it was actually easier because playing with boys, it was more physical and more fast paced. So having a transition from playing all boys from basically kindergarten and fifth grade and then switching into sixth grade and beyond, it was it was easy for me. 'Cause I already was prepared for the physicality that could arise, but never really did. I mean, I got bumps and bruises here and there, but I mean,
Right.
nothing more serious, no ACL tears, no none of that. So,
And then you played all the way through high school?
yep, I played all the way into my senior year. I thought about going to play in college, but um, as I may or may have not told you, in sophomore year, like during COVID year, I had a traumatic injury.
Mhm.
I call it injury, but it was more of like a medical mystery, and it gave me nerve damage on like from the waist down. So it was extremely painful to play from pretty much like summer of my sophomore year to a senior year. So I decided not to. I did get some like emails from like coaches and stuff from New York, Texas, just like random small schools to like come play, see their campus and stuff. But pursuing my educational career at that point was more important.
Right. And how were in middle school, especially high school, how was academics? Did it come natural to you? Were
Yeah.
you AB student pretty much?
Um, yeah, middle school I was straight A's. High school it was more like AB, maybe 1C geometry, but that was like freshman year. So
Yeah.
um
It's
we
always the
don't
math.
we, we don't talk about that. But Yeah, I was like an AB student. I think 1 year in high school. Yeah, it was my sophomore year. It was the COVID year. I was straight A's because it was all online, so I didn't have to do any work or anything. But yeah, I was an AB student. Everything came pretty natural to me. Maybe except for math. I did have to work at math a little bit harder, but other than that, everything else is easy.
And how was growing up like, parenting wise? Was it strict? Like, was good grades like mandatory to play? Because I know like my parents, you know, if you're bringing home failing grades, you're not playing, whether it's a team
Oh,
rule or not, kind of thing. How was it for you?
yeah. Not so much like when I was younger, but middle school when they started actually enforcing that, that was when more so my dad was all like, if you bring home anything lower than a B, I don't care what the coaches say, I'm benching you.
Right,
So grades have always been important. Now that I'm in college, they're just like, as long as you don't fail or drop out, just do your stuff.
right,
But middle school through high school, I mean, when I got that C, my dad was, whoo, he was livid. He was all like, this is never happening again. And I never made a C after that in high school. In college, yes, but in high school after that, it was either straight A's or straight B's.
right. And so you get to college. The What's your official major?
I'm a pre-med student,
Pre-med.
biology, pre-med, yeah.
And were you pre-med once you got here, or did it take you time to figure out what you wanted to do?
Mm-mm. Pretty much since about eighth grade, freshman year, I knew exactly what I wanted to do.
Why is that?
Basketball. I broke my arm third grade. I had knee surgeries back to back years, seventh and eighth grade. I've had two knee contusions, the nerve damage, and yeah, that's all like my basketball related injuries, but health wise, I was born with a pre-existing condition, so is my little sister. My mom has the pre-existing condition, so I am like a ball of medical problems. Literally.
And so that's motivated you to go pre-med.
Yep,
Now,
100%.
now my question is, what's your end game? What's your ideal situation? Let's say pre-med graduate. I assume there's some post-graduation stuff you'll have to do for what you're trying
Mm-hmm.
like. What's the end game?
So in-game is being a board certified orthopedic surgeon slash sports medicine doctor. They're pretty much the same thing. And just like getting hired by a professional sports team. I would prefer basketball, but honestly, I would take a job anywhere. Baseball, hockey, football, it
Right,
doesn't matter.
right. Now, also with being in sports, especially starting playing so long, you what
Mm-hmm.
you said, first serious injury was third grade, but you've been playing since you can remember, since you were like 3 or 4, playing all the way through
Mm-hmm.
high school, obviously playing through injury. So
Mm-hmm.
what that tells me is, especially when you talk about nerve damage, and you still played with 2 more seasons, or basically 2.5 seasons, because you
Yeah.
said summer of your sophomore year. That means
Mm-hmm.
obviously, one, you enjoy basketball because you continue
Oh
to
yeah.
play through
100%.
pain, but it also shows a level of determination and work ethic. So my question is, which I always love to ask this question to athletes, not only athletes, but you're also in a STEM major, which is, pre-med, it's not an easy major. That's not something you can just go to college and just willy-nilly your way through. It takes work. Where did your work ethic come from? Was it something you watched? Was it something that was taught to you? Was it a combination of both? Where did that come from? And when did you realize that it makes all the difference, especially like in sports? You start to realize, kind of middle school, everybody's sort of kind of around the same level. To an extent, you have outliers. But then when you get to high school, the guys that put in, or gals that put in extra work, really start to separate themselves, and it becomes vastly apparent. Besides some outliers, obviously you got those freaking natures, but for a
Yeah.
lot of people, that's what separates the people that make it to college, or the people that have the talent to go to college. and the people that don't, or the people that stand out in the sport in high school and that don't, is are they coming in before class or before school starts? Are they staying after? Are they getting more shots up after practice? Are they shooting X amount of shots after practice? Are they practicing their free throws? Are they working their left hand if they're right hand dominant, et cetera, et cetera? When, so two part, how was work ethic instilled or how did you learn it? And two, when did you notice the big change when it came to, you separating yourself?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'd have to say probably first my first knee surgery was in 7th grade. I missed the entire season. So I didn't even play 7th grade. And we couldn't play 6th grade basketball. Like sports was not allowed in 6th graders. You had to wait till you were in 7th grade. So I was working my way up basketball camps every other week pretty much when I was in 6th grade, just getting ready, getting ready, getting ready. And just I'm just tell you that I'm a allude to my medical problems a lot because I believe and a lot of my friends from middle school, high school, they're like, I don't know how you do it. When I remember this specifically, I was at a basketball camp, 6th grade. One of my old trainers, he's in New York now. Um, I noticed his pain and I was like, it doesn't feel right. Like it hurts to walk, it hurts to run, it hurts to do everything. So I told my dad and ibuprofen, ice, blah blah blah. Still went to another camp. And for me to sit out, that means that like I'm in a ton of pain. My pain tolerance is abnormally crazy, like insanely crazy. So I had
Mm,
to sit out. We went to the doctor. One doctor couldn't find out. Two more doctors couldn't find out. We finally found a doctor in Austin. He's all like, "This is your problem. Look, fluid around your kneecap is separated. That's why it hurts so much." Went in there, did knee surgery. I was supposed to go to a camp. I don't know if you've ever heard this basketball camp, Point Guard College, where it's
mm-mm,
like it's 5 days or 7 days, a full week of you go to an actual college and just like a collegiate athlete, you wake up, eat breakfast, go to film, go to practice, go to
mm.
lunch, all that for however many days. And I was going with a friend, and I told my dad, I was like, I still want to go. Even though I can't do anything, I'm still gonna go. So I went, and as hard as it was watching everyone play, and I was just sitting there on the sidelines with my knee wrapped in a brace, I was like, I mean, if this is what it takes to get to the next level, then I'm gonna do it. So I did it. And pretty much ever since then, I've just, you know, played through everything, worked through everything. I mean, whatever bad has happened to me, I have worked through it and it's just never gone away.
So, so where do you think that comes from?
I think honestly, probably my mom. My mom's the same way because she's very driven.
Mm,
She focuses on everything. Something has to get done. If she can't figure it out, then she will figure it out one way or another. And growing up, I've seen pictures. She used to be a bodybuilder, and she did that all the way until I was born. So she stopped when I was about 1 or 2 years old. And I mean, to have that level of commitment, even with a little kid, as young as I was,
mm,
I just hear stories about her, I see pictures about her. I mean, she has two trophies, I think 2 or 3 samurai swords from shows she's won. And I just look at her, I'm like, well, that's who I need to be. Like, I need to do what my mom does in order to succeed.
right.
So,
The
yeah.
the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I actually just have a quick question. What's your what structures or like things are part of your routine that or that's related to discipline? What structure do you have set for yourself currently that's like helping you navigate this path of college?
Honestly, just try not to get distracted by the little things. Um, like parties, dumb drama here and there. I mean, we're in college, but there's still a drama. Just sticking to my routine, waking up, brushing my teeth, getting dressed, maybe watch some TV before I go to school and go to school, come back. Do I want to do my homework right away? No. All right, let me take 15 to 20-minute break before I do, eat while I'm on that break, get the homework. While I'm doing my homework, lock in, don't do anything else, try to focus, don't let anyone talk to me. Once that's finished, all right, I can do whatever I want until about feel like it's time to go to bed, till I'm tired, go to bed, repeat, do it all over again. Just stay on track every single day.
Just like minimizing your distractions.
Yeah.
Prioritizing like the stuff that needs to get done. And once that's done, then like you said, you can, all right, maybe I can get on the game for a little bit, stuff,
Yeah, cause I mean,
stuff like
my
that.
dad, oh man, my dad's a procrastinator, and I see him procrastinate, and I'm like, well, if you just did this like yesterday, you wouldn't have to worry about it today. You'd be free. You could do whatever this, and he's all like, oh, so I'm like, well, just do what you're supposed to do, and
Uh,
you won't be stressed out.
there's no better motivator for me than somebody procrastinates because it's funny to me because procrastinators will freak out and they'll complain about like all this stuff. Oh my god, I gotta do this, and it's like you're watching on the outside looking in. You're looking at this person like panic and like their life is on fire, and you're just like, dude, you could have just did
Yeah,
this 2 days. Like when you know you had to do this? Oh, a month ago? Why didn't you do it a month ago? It's
yeah,
just
or at least like if it's a
start on it.
big project, do it little bit by little bit, you know?
Yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah, I do a little bit at a time, so it's never a lot all at once. But yeah, people procrastinators make life harder than it has to be for themselves, and it
Yeah,
blows
for
my
sure.
mind. It blows my mind. So now I want to get into some things that we really had envisioned for talking about some juicy stuff as the WNBA season has just concluded a few weeks ago with the New York
Mm-hmm.
Liberty. Shout out New York Liberty for winning
Let's go, finally.
their first championship. So I want to start from the beginning, right? Because this is probably one of the most important years for WNBA in terms of just growth. They got
Mm-hmm.
the they got the multi-billion-dollar media deal that's going to bring in, I believe, $200 million a year over 11 years, something like that, 10, 11 years. They're just the viewership's going up. I know the Las Vegas Aces as well as the Indiana Fever. They've sold out every home game this season. The playoffs had the most attendance in the playoffs, and I believe in history, if not for a very long time.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
a lot of important stuff. You got these superstars coming in. Cameron Brink, who was out for the season, but she was one of those superstars. Angel Reese, um, Caitlin Clark, etc. And you have these solidified veterans, just bona fide monsters. Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu. You had Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Dewana Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, etc. So the list goes on. For you, how like where do you see? I want your opinion on from here moving forward. Where do you see the trajectory of the WNBA?
I hope that it keeps going up the way it's going. Obviously, the goal, I think, is for I don't know if it'll ever happen because the NBA funds the WNBA.
Right,
So I don't know if the WNBA will just be a solo like the
right,
NBA is. I don't know if that'll ever happen because I mean, right now I can't really see any other talent. I mean, I know you don't really follow college basketball, but there's some crazy college basketball players right now that I've known, but I mean, after them, I'm like now what? And I feel like it'll climb up, and then once it gets to its peak, I'm afraid it's going to drop back down. Especially with players wanting bigger salaries, flying private or at least charter,
Right.
not having to have all those sponsors on their jerseys, things like that, not having to play overseas after the season's over just to make more money.
Right. That's a big one.
So, honestly, I hope it keeps going up and just stays going up. But I mean, only time will tell. So, and especially like, I mean, Diana Taurasi is like what, older than LeBron now? She's like 41 or something.
Yeah, I think
40,
41,
41.
42, I think, something like
I
that.
mean, she's most likely going to retire anytime now. She'll announce her retirement. I mean, Kelsey Plum, Asia Wilson, Stewie, Thomas, they're all going to retire soon. And yeah, we have Caitlin, Angel, Cameron, but I mean, I've just grown up. I mean, heck, Becky Hammond. Like I grew up loving Becky Hammond. We went to Stars games all the time. So after she leaves, Asia leaves, Kelsey. I mean, those stars are really going to have to step up if the WNBA is going to get bigger.
Right. It's tough. I honestly think just from the conversations I've had, especially from my male friends,
Mhm.
because I think for the WNBA to succeed, I think eventually they will get to the point where they make money. Will they always will they always be subsidized by the NBA? I don't know because they're kind of a team thing. But I
Yeah.
do think the WNBA will eventually become profitable because even though they had a phenomenal year this year, I think they still lost 40 million on the year because they
Yeah,
had
they lost like something crazy even though they made all this money.
right because they had like you said their charter they're upping the amenities for the athletes which in
Yeah.
turn cost more, but that's just you got to grow, but I do think eventually that they will become profitable, but I think it's going to come down to the WNBA, even though it is women's basketball. The two things that are going to have they need to be successful, they're going to have to capture male audience because the majority of sport watchers period
Are women.
regardless of sports are men.
Oh, well, yeah, for sports in general, but I think
Right,
for
sports in
for
general.
WNBA women,
Right, it's majority
obviously.
women, but for sports in
Yeah.
general, men watch sports the most. So if you can, you're gonna have to grab a male audience and grow the male audience because those are the type they're going to watch. Like we all know, NFL Sunday is like a holiday. Monday night
Yeah, but like
holiday.
you're jumping into a whole nother conversation because I mean, I know you joke around and stuff at work and stuff. I love working with you, but like, oh, the male ego about women in sports, especially basketball, is insane. You still have that high majority of men that like will die before ever watching women play basketball or
Oh
soccer
yeah,
or
yeah.
so I mean it's going to be
Those
really hard.
Yeah, those are out there. I'm talking, but those aren't the people you're trying to get. You're trying to get like I have a bunch of male friends that love the sport of basketball. You're trying to get
Hmm.
those the people like the friends I have that went from not watching any WNBA to me and my male friends are like taught like, dude, are you watching the Sparks game right now?
Yeah.
Like almost like that level of, dude, are you watching oh my god, what's her name? Jackson. Dakari Jackson or Hamby. Like, bro, you
Yep.
watching
Yep.
Hamby? She's going crazy right now. She's got 19 and 19. Like, I'm seeing a swing of male sport enthusiasts switching to WNBA. So obviously you're not gonna be like you said, there's gonna be some guys that are just like, I just don't like women's sports in general. And of course you're not gonna get those, but if you can just find a male audience and grow it, not only that, but I think the most important is they're gonna have to be very, very strategic in their marketing, which their marketing got a lot better this year because The way they're
Yeah.
marketing Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, that like they market that rivalry. They're both in the same conference. They were neck and neck all season in terms of the seeding because one was a little bit, and then the Indiana Fever started to separate a little bit towards the end of the season, but they were neck and neck. And every single game they played against each other, it was a national TV game, and it was sold out,
Mhm.
regardless if it was in
Mhm.
Chicago or in
And
Indiana.
like crazy amount of viewers. I've seen like stats
Crazy,
where like this many watch just a regular season game against Caitlin Angel compared to how many people watch the NBA finals. And it's like
right? Yeah,
millions of difference. So
yeah. So they got to market, but what they need to start doing though now is they did a good job marketing the rivalry because they're comparing it to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, right?
yeah.
And then they did do a little bit. I think they also did a pretty good job at marketing their already superstars. I thought Aja Wilson had a great marketing campaign this season. I have the WNBA League Pass, so
Mhm.
you're seeing these commercials. She's in like the State Farm commercials with Sabrina Ionescu and Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum had a lot of TV time with just commercials, and they're putting that on their platform. Now they just need to continue to market the young superstars, as well as these old superstars. And I think if they market strategically, I do think over time they will become profitable. I do. But like you said, you're going to have some people you're not going to win over. It's going to take time. It's probably going to be a lot slower than people think. And then as you get that money, you're going to have to start paying players more. As you get that
Mhm.
money, you're going to have to continue this up level of accommodations for the athletes. With chartering is expensive, having food for them is expensive. Better hotels. That stuff starts to add up. So I do think it takes time, but I think they'll get there.
Yeah.
Now, what I do, what I actually do want to ask you about, because like you said, I don't watch college basketball, female or male. I don't keep up with college basketball. But and you admit this is actually, I'm glad you mentioned, you talked about some superstars in college that are getting ready to come to the NFL, to the WNBA. Who were some of the? I know one was her name Juju for, was it South
Oh
Carolina?
yeah, Juju, USC, USC.
USC. Can you give me like a summary of like or breakdown of some of these college superstars, because there's another chick from UConn, right?
Paige Beckers, the white
Right.
chick.
So
Yep.
I've heard of a couple, but like break down who do you think is going to be that next wave of like bringing eyeballs to the WNBA from college?
Well, those two, I mean, mainly those two. Juju is insane. I think she's like 6'4", six
Mhm.
five. She's like a female LeBron. That's how I see her. I think last year she averaged like 25 or something. Something crazy. I mean, leading scorer of her team. The offense runs through her. And then Paige for UConn, she's had her injury struggles. I mean, she was hurt one year, played, then hurt again, then played, then hurt again, and now she's playing for her senior year. But she's a little bit, I don't know how tall Sabrina is, but Paige is a little bit shorter than Sabrina, but has her exact game. Shoots from
Right.
the distance, flashy passer, great point guard, um, good defender. I mean, those are the two main girls that I think will succeed in the WNBA and still bring the amount of excitement that Caitlyn and Angel did. Probably not the rivalry, but definitely the excitement. And then you
The excitement.
have kind of some of the outliers like Deja Kelly. She played in North Carolina, now she's in Oregon. Jada Williams, she is a sophomore. Yeah, she's sophomore Arizona. She's a little bit smaller, 5'8", but she's a crazy defender, can score from anywhere on the floor. She can play Klay Thompson style or Chris Paul style. I mean, those are the ones I can think of right now off the top of my head. But honestly, after them, I don't think many more are going to come. Um, so it's going to be hard to bring the WNBA up, like you said, to that popularity. Because in order for that to happen, Caitlin, Angel, Cameron, they have to stay healthy. If any of them have season-ending injuries, especially two at the same time, the WNBA, I think, will plummet. Especially, maybe not plummet, but definitely decrease in viewership, especially
Right.
with Asia, Kelsey, Thomas, all of them starting to get older. The WNBA is gonna have to step up their game.
Now, speaking of stepping up games, what are some teams that you think are just a few pieces away from being in the conversation with the Las Vegas Aces, who were back-to-back champions? They were trying to three-peat but couldn't get it. You're talking about the defending champs, the New York Liberty. What teams do you, or yeah, what teams, if you think more than one, are like a couple pieces away from being in that conversation of a contending team consistently? Because even though New York just won their first, they were in the finals
Mm,
last year.
yeah.
Connecticut Suns, which, well, yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked. What are some what teams that you think are like a few pieces away? Like, what are they missing from being in that conversation?
Well, I think the Indiana Fever are, I wouldn't say they're missing pieces. I just think that they need to get used to Caitlin's style more. I think the core with Caitlin and their center is Aaliyah
Oh,
Boston.
yes, hey, that
Yes,
their that pick and roll game between the
yes.
two is
I
phenomenal.
I love their pick and roll. So I
Yeah.
think that if they can find some good strategies during the off season
Mhm.
that translates into the this next season, I think they will jump more in the playoffs, maybe make it from the first round, and just every year they will get consistently better. I think the pieces they have now are good. Um, the Sparks, whew, I think they gotta make some moves. Right now, from the little I've seen, is they need help. Cameron Brink needs help because that's really all they got. And then once she got hurt, you never heard from them again. Like they were never in the conversation.
Right. They're at
I
the bottom
mean,
once again.
yeah. Um, Same thing with the Chicago Sky. Angel Reese has, for the love of God, has to develop a jump shot and has to be at least 75 to 80% finishing around the rim. She can get
Right.
offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds all day long, but seeing her put back some of those layups, I mean, like, my little sister could do that. She's 14, 15. I mean, Angel just shooting it straight up in the sky, no. And she has to develop more of her game than just rebounding. She can't
Right.
just, in the WNBA, she can't just be a Dennis Rodman. She has to develop something else. But I like Trinity Carter with her, their point guard. I mean, Trinity Carter, I saw her play in college at Texas
Dog.
A&M. She is,
Dog.
she's crazy, but they need more of a Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston type of style. But
Right.
Angel Reese needs to develop a layup and a mid-range to get that scary duo going. And
Right.
if that doesn't happen, then you're gonna either drop more or never make it in the playoffs, period. Those
Right.
are the big teams that I can think of. New York, they just have to stay healthy. Um, but Las Vegas this year kind of scares me because Kelsey Plum's a free agent, and I think so is Chelsea Gray. So I don't know what they're going to do. They also parted ways, I think, with their GM. So I don't know what they're going to do. And I heard all of Becky Hammond's post conference after they lost to the Liberty to go to the finals. I heard Becky Hammond saying that they might have to make some serious changes, moves they don't want to make just to like fix it because
Right.
the Las Vegas Aces this year were not the Las Vegas Aces the last 2 years.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. Um, we'll just have to see. But I did like the Connecticut Sun trade. They got man, I'm drawing the blank on her name. She was like a man, I gotta look it up now. But they got a trade that kind of helped Alyssa Thomas. Um and I'm drawing a blank. But
I don't remember
I
the trade.
I don't know. They just I don't know. I mean, honestly, because those are the big name teams, and if you're in the WNBA is definitely not like the NBA. I could probably name in the NBA at least one player, superstar or not, from all 30 teams. WNBA, I can't because you only got those 4, 5, maybe 6 teams that you know one player on their team, and everyone else you don't really know because they're barely winning like 25 games.
That's it. You know what? You want to play a game? All right.
Oh God.
I want you to bring up a list of all the WNBA teams, and I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna see if I can name a. I guess I don't want to say superstar, but some. I want to see if I can name. I don't want to say just a person, but like one of their main people from each team. All right.
Okay. So I got him right here. Ready?
All right. I'm ready.
The Atlanta Dream.
Uh, Tina Charles.
Mm-hmm. Chicago Sky.
Uh, we'll say Angel Reese, Kennedy Carter. Those are like my two favorites for sure.
Okay, Connecticut Sun.
Alyssa Thomas, Dewana Bonner, and what's her last name? The chick with the blonde hair. Is it Jackson? No, it's not Jackson. It's Johnson.
Yes, yes.
How do you say her first name? Starts with a D, right?
Is it
It's like
uh
Dewana.
yeah, Dewana? Yeah, that sounds
Or
right.
not that's no, not Dewana. It's I don't know, but you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I
Yeah.
know who I yeah.
Okay.
Dallas.
Oh, Dallas is tough. Oh my gosh. I know for a fact if I was watching, I could name somebody. We'll come back to Dallas.
I already got Dallas, but yeah, we'll come back. Indiana.
Caitlin Clark,
Yeah. Vegas.
Aja Wilson,
Um, the Sparks.
uh, Cameron Brink, she was injured rookie, but we'll go with Hamby or the other rookie Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Minnesota.
Nafisa Collier,
Mm-hmm. New York.
uh, Stewie,
Phoenix.
Phoenix. Phoenix will this is like a was a cop out answer, but I'll just go with Brittany Griner. You could I
Mm,
could the
Diana.
Diana Taurasi, yeah.
Yeah. Seattle.
Seattle Storm. Oh, Skylar Diggins.
Yep. And Washington.
Washington Mystics. Oh my God. I'm drawing a blank on Washington Mystics. Um, oh my goodness. I'm gonna hate myself. So Washington Mystics and Dallas Wing. No, hang on. Dallas had somebody in the All Stars, didn't they?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God.
I know her from college because I remember watching this game in college.
Oh my gosh. Why am I drawing a blank on her name?
I
Oh,
believe I mean I'm
who are
pretty
you?
sure her last name is African. Like you
Oh,
know who?
Ogunbole.
Yes,
Yes,
Gumawale. Yeah.
yes, yes. That's what I was thinking of. And then
Mm-hmm.
Mystics. Mystics. Oh my gosh, dude. I should know this because they're between Mystics, Chicago, and Atlanta. It was a three-way run for that eighth spot. I should know this. Mystics. Give me a hint.
I don't know if she's still playing, but she was one of the best guards about 2, 3 years ago. Tall white girl. I mean, her first name is like the most common name a white girl could have.
Hannah? Becky? Alyssa? All
Starts
right.
with the E. It's Elena Deladon.
What's the starting five for Mystics? Do you have this
Uh,
like the starting
let,
five?
let me look it up.
There's a specific. I have the picture of her face in my head. I cannot remember her name.
Mm, uh, it's
Mm-mm.
not Brittany Sykes, is it?
No, I don't think that's the name.
Aaliyah Edwards. She played for UConn last year.
Let me see. Hold up.
She's their center.
All right, give me. I'm tripping.
Honestly, she's the only one that I recognize. On the Washington Mystics, Aaliyah Edwards, I don't know anyone else.
Wait. Yeah, it is Aaliyah Edwards.
Yeah,
I had to see a picture of her.
yeah,
Yeah, number 24.
yep.
That's not bad.
Yeah, good job, Finis.
I did my best. But no, I definitely agree. It's gonna take some it's gonna take some finesse in terms of the marketing and like you said, even if there's a like let's say because I assume Juju and what's her name from UConn is gonna be in this upcoming draft. Is that right? Or
No,
how
Juju's my age, and Paige is a senior.
so Paige would be coming out, but Juju won't. Well, maybe that they're stagnant might help, but even if you have because the thing about the NBA, every now and then you have those classes or those draft classes where the talent's not like crazy.
Yeah,
You still have guys that are in their second, third year in the NBA that you still marketing, even though you might have a year where you don't really have like a superstar to market. And then later they might, some guys out of that class might develop into superstars. So I think they just have to be strategic in that sense with the WNBA to keep growing. But so we talked about where were we at? Oh yeah, we were talking about teams that we that you had thought that were like right there. I think watching the LA Sparks. I know this is a tough one because that's a lot of speculating assumption. But at the early beginning of the season, Cameron Brink was playing phenomenal. I
yeah, she
actually had
was.
her I had her as my dark horse to win Rookie of the Year because everybody was like Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese. I was paying attention. I thought Cameron Brink had a really good shot at winning Rookie of the Year before she got hurt. And then Hamby steps up as basically their number one. She averages a double double. Hamby is an absolute baller. She struggled a little bit here and there against like double teams and certain teams from a defensive matchup. But besides that, she had a phenomenal year. And then you had Rakia Jackson, another rookie who stepped up that I thought could have put top. I'm trying to think, did she make the rookie team? I don't remember if Rakia Jackson made the rookie team, but I know she
I
had a
don't think she did.
right. I know she had a phenomenal year. So I think with a couple pieces, if you obviously get Cameron Brink back, keep her healthy. You keep Hamby. You got Rakia Jackson, who is just an absolute monster in terms of just changing direction, getting to the basket. She's got a nice mid range. She can pretty much kill you from anywhere on the court, and she just gets to her spots. Like no matter how tight or loose your defense is, she's gonna get where she's trying to go. I think to me, they are one player away, one role player away. I think they could potentially be in that conversation next year as a solid team. Now, again, I understand I'm doing a lot of speculating because we didn't see a full season of Cameron, right? You know,
Well,
yeah,
you also gotta remember that they're adding two more teams, Toronto
they are adding two more teams.
and the San Francisco, and something that I saw a month or two ago that I did not agree with is the two new teams that they are adding, they're not getting players from the draft. They are allowed to steal players from other
Oh,
teams.
yeah, yeah.
I don't like that personally. I would say, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense because it's like a trade almost, but these new teams have nothing to trade for. They're literally
Yeah.
building from scratch. So, me personally, I think I agree with your LA Sparks that they are maybe a role player away, especially keeping Cameron healthy. But I mean, these two new teams could be looking at those players that you mentioned to steal.
Don't.
And
I'm sorry.
so
Go
I
ahead.
mean I don't know.
For that new team, isn't there a rule where each team can pick like two or three people that can't be touched, right? I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure you
so
can. I don't know how. I think it's two or three, but you can pick two or three players on your team that are
yeah,
uh
they're
draft
untouchable. But
draftable.
like
Right?
for teams like the Aces, Kelsey Plum's a free
A
agent.
free agent.
So they can't put any
Restrict. Yeah.
restrictions. So if they do want to sign her again, but the Toronto team or the San Francisco team is like, no, we want Kelsey, Las Vegas, there that becomes a bidding war at that point.
Do the
To
do the do the players have like can they like say no, I don't want to go to this team? Or if that team picks, let's say a player is an unmarked player, so they're free game, and the San Diego team says, "Oh, we want to have you on our team." Can that player deny that? Like, how does
I
that work?
mean, in a way, yeah, because they could be all like, we want you to come play for us and this will be your salary. But they could be all like, no, I want to stay with whoever they're with. But if their team doesn't match what they want, they might as well just go. I mean, just use Kelsey Plum as an example. Say this new Toronto team or whatever says, hey, we'll give you like the max contract, whatever it is in the WNBA, like 500,000, I think, maybe 400 grand. But the Vegas also says we'll match that. Well, at that point, it's like, do you want to stay in Vegas and hopefully stay with the same core and try to steal it back from New York, or do you want to start fresh? So, I mean, at that point, it's like, you know,
Now, I do understand why they have that set up because if those two new expansion teams only had players just drafted, the disparity in talent would be atrocious. So I get
that's,
it, but
yeah.
at the same time, I it's a weird process because
Yeah,
it's
you can argue both sides of it, obviously. But I mean, this offseason is definitely going to be interesting, especially
now
with the free agents that are free agents and with these new teams being able to basically be like, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you. We'll see
now
how this season ends.
do those new teams does that start next season or is that 2026? I don't remember.
I believe it's this coming season because they already announced it for the team in California. That's how I heard about them being able to pick from the teams that are already existed. So that if they're already saying that for the team in California, then that means the Toronto team also has to start this upcoming season because then there'll be an odd number.
Right. Well, Yeah, right. I guess you got to do even numbers. Now, real quick, before I get you out of here, we brought up the expanded teams, which I completely forgot about. I'm glad you brought it up. And for impact of the WNBA, because they've been slowly adding, the amount of games. Like
Mm-hmm.
I believe 2 or 3 years ago, they only played like 26 games. Like maybe
It
five,
may have
like
been longer
5,
than that,
yeah, like
but
maybe 5 years.
yeah,
But at one point, they only played 26 games.
yeah.
Now they played 40 this past season. I think next
Mm-hmm.
year they're playing 44. Is
Yeah,
that right?
44.
And then I assume as they, you expand, you're expanding because I think they're also looking at expanding again, because it's only 12 teams. They're trying to expand again because the NBA, you have 30. Yeah. What do you think in terms of benefit? Like I assume it's gonna benefit, but like in terms of the growth of WNBA, how much of an impact do you think expanding the season in terms of total number of games and expanding the amount of teams? Like how big of an impact do you think that is? Do you think it's going to be like a really big impact, more games, more viewership, more marketing dollars, or more TV dollars, I guess? Or do you think it's just a small difference because of, whatever? Do you think it's a big impact or a small impact?
I'm gonna say small. Right now, I'm gonna say small. I do think that if they expand more, it should be to cities that have already have a team, whatever team they're originally. Like, I think it's good that California's getting a team in San Francisco because you got the Clippers, the Lakers, the Kings, and the Warriors, all big, big basketball teams in California. Now you're adding a women's team.
Right.
So, like you said earlier, that will hopefully grow the male viewership since you already have so many teams in California. So if there's like the dead period in summer after the finals, no baseball is really going on, go catch a WNBA game. Toronto, I didn't like Toronto, the Toronto expansion. Neither did
Mhm.
I. I think they also announced Portland. I didn't like that either because for one, Toronto and Portland suck right now in the NBA. So if you're looking at that,
Right.
there you want teams like to be in like New York where you have hardcore NBA fans that
Right.
will still want to
Loyal.
translate to WNBA
Loyal.
because
Right.
it's like, well, yeah, they might be girls, but still basketball. I mean, if you're male, female, if you're a basketball fan, you'd want to see a basketball game. It doesn't matter
Right.
what. So right now, I'm gonna say small. But if they want to grow into making it a bigger impact, I think they need to choose wisely and where they expand. Me personally, because I'm biased, we need a team back here in San Antonio.
Oh, I think that'd be phenomenal. I think a San Antonio
Because
women's team would do really well.
I mean, Spurs have sucked for a minute now. We're slowly starting to kind of build the pieces, but with all the hype around Wimby and just watching Spurs basketball and enjoying it again, I think having a team here, another WNBA team here, will still translate to, hey, let's go catch a game with
It could,
more viewership and
right.
stuff like that.
I,
So,
I I think any personally, the reason why the reason why I think a WNBA team in San Antonio would work is because the way I look at it, I kind of look at it as like business in terms of like
mm-hmm,
which is WNBA, NBA. It is a business at the end of the day, but it's all about infrastructure. So kind of what you're alluding to, you already have, even though Spurs aren't that have been that good in recent years, you have diehard Spurs fans.
oh yeah,
Right.
I've been a diehard Spurs fan.
Right, exactly. Like you have the San Antonio, like everywhere you go, it's Spurs this, Spurs that, which one of the things I love about San Antonio. I'm not a Spurs fan, I'm a basketball fan. So I love
Yeah,
going to Spurs games, regardless if we're good or not. Like people show up and show out. So you
yeah,
already have that professional basketball fan infrastructure. And a lot of people that are, especially the people that are from here, grew up here, they're Spurs fan because this is their city. They have an NBA team that represents their city. So if you just kind of insert a WNBA team in there, I think it would do well because you already have that basketball infrastructure, and then you have the like what was it, the San Antonio Stars when they were here
Yep.
originally. You have that. You kind of will already have the infrastructure. So I think any WNBA team that they expand, I think as long as there's already an NBA team in that city, I think they'll do better than just a WNBA team in Missouri.
Yeah.
I think if you're gonna do it, you got to put one in Miami. You got to put one in. I'm trying to think of a place that doesn't already have, but like somewhere like Miami, I think a WNBA team in Miami would do well because you already got that
Mm-hmm.
Miami Heat
Even
culture.
Orlando. I mean,
Or Orlando, you
yeah.
already have that Orlando Magic culture in there, and you can kind of just, like you said, summer ends, NBA, the finals are over for the NBA. Oh, bet we still have there's still basketball to watch because then you got the WNBA season that starts up.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
yeah,
yeah, I agree with you on that, but also at the same time, you still need to find a city that is you will believe has loyal fans. Like
right, loyal.
you're a basketball fan, so I'm sure you've heard the stories of New York and Boston and Philly fans are like die hard. Like if
Oh yeah,
you, yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
they will boo you if you never play. If you say you will stay here forever and then you request to trade and then you come back with it, they will
So with
kill
Kyrie,
you. Yes, they will kill you. So that's why I
listen,
think having a team in Toronto and in Portland wasn't the best idea.
not to
I
start off, not to
Yeah,
start
not
off.
to
Yeah.
start off. Like
Maybe
that's why I think
if it was a little later, they added in like these other areas first. Yeah,
that's why I
not
think like California is a good addition. That's why I
yeah.
think they needed to bring it back to San Antonio. Even Houston had a team. The Houston
Oh, I think that would
the
do good right now.
Comets.
That would do good right now.
So cuz I mean, you already got Dallas. Why not
Yeah,
add Houston and San Antonio again?
yeah.
So, yeah, that's where I'm going with it.
Well, it's a good take. Now, before you leave, and I let you go here, because I don't want to keep you any longer, because the fate of the fate of this country is decided tonight because it's election.
Yes.
But I want you to give. I guess since we're already a little over, just give me two pieces of advice or something you would, a pointer you would give to somebody that's listening or watching, or something you would tell yourself back in the past. Give the people two thoughts of wisdom.
Um, I think number one, most important is that you are always stronger than you think you are. Because until you have to do something you don't think you can do and you do it, you prove yourself wrong right then and there. I think people just need to go in with like the I can always do it mindset versus the it's too hard, I'm never going to try it. Because if you go with that mindset, then you ain't going to get nowhere. So that's number one. And since you brought it up, piece of advice I give myself if I could see myself again, like way back when, sounds a little cliche, but I'm gonna just say you're gonna be fine. Because I've been through a lot of crap in my life, a lot of crap. And we could do a whole nother podcast just on that. Um, but just you'll be okay. And you'll get through it, you'll find a way, and in the end, people got your back. So,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it here on Uncle Strib with the famous Big Diesel in the house. We'll catch you guys next time. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna chase my dreams, my